As a kid, I remember coming to work with Dad and making havoc among the staff with my remote control cars as I chased the dispatch guys around the warehouse. But it was good, it gave me insight into the company and what we did, and I didn't really understand back then, but today I often think back to those moments and helps me appreciate what everyone does around here. My father, Frank Hutchinson, was one of the founders of Tamer, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about what we do and where we started, because it's something that's not often understood or told in the industry. Frank, who was very, very young at the time, was sick for days on end, and his mum actually gave him a book about future industries around the world, and it was just to pass the time. It was no special motive behind it, but in this he read a story about how the automotive trade was growing rapidly around the world and the need for spare parts. That really sparked something, and it's hard to think that almost 50 years later we are what we are today because of that book. So he then went and got a traineeship and became a spare parts interpreter, and that was where he met Don. Don Kite was someone whose reputation really preceded him. He was one of those original parts interpreters where there was no computers, and so your memory and reciting part numbers was very, very important. He was able to teach Frank a great deal, and after a number of years, Frank could see the potential and asked Don to go into business with him. So the company started, I think it was $600 each they put in, and 2 people, very, very small shop in Moorabbin. No stock in those years. To today, we employ 130 staff. We have 12 warehouses, 4 of them are international. We distribute to 70 countries worldwide and have 3,500 wholesale customers around the world. So it's something that we're really excited about, we're very proud about, but it's still essentially the same company started by 2 men all those years ago. At Tamer, we are the four-wheel drive parts specialists. So instead of dressing the vehicle up, we keep it running. The range is pretty extensive, it's over 40,000 different parts. Toyota Land Cruiser is obviously a core vehicle for us, but certainly the Hilux has grown very strongly in recent years, the Nissan Patrol, but it's expanding quite rapidly into all the niche, particularly the ute vehicles like the Isuzu D-Max or the Mitsubishi Triton, and particularly all the fast moving parts for those. We don't believe that there's any company like us in the world. Generally you'll have a suspension company or a filter company or a brake company, but we unusually go the other way, that we're a full drive company. So it's very difficult. Our guys need to be across all facets of the vehicle, but very niche because we only concentrate on those vehicles. So we don't worry about cars or trucks, for instance. So the mining industry is really important to us because they often buy fleets of vehicles and they put them in really harsh environments and under a lot of strain. So if there's a weakness in the vehicle, they're going to know about it first. This is very important because it gives us 1 or 2 years to develop a solution, and so the general four-wheel drive market has that solution as they're coming up against these certain issues. And often by working with the OE manufacturer, they say, well, if they were to design it again, they would have done this or that, and that's where we're able to bring into the aftermarket as a stronger replacement part. As the range has got bigger, we've had a brand to protect, so we can't afford something to get into a Tamer box that doesn't meet that standard. There can be anything up to 2 or 3 years before a part goes from its idea into a eventually ready for sale. It's not about just the development of the part itself, but the installation side of things. So how do we make things easier? There's many clutch kits in the industry, but we were the first to put the spigot bearing in. Mainly the others don't put it in because they're really hard to source, but every mechanic needs to change it when they're changing the clutch. So it's just another way for us to make the installation much more simple. So when a Tamer customer buys a part, they're also buying 50 years experience. So all those lessons that we've learned along the way, they get to benefit from. We do it for the friendships we gain, the development. It's a really down-to-earth industry, and that's what we love about it.